Kia ora tātou. In today's Gospel, we hear perhaps one of the favourite parables, the parable of the Good Samaritan. But there's a context. The context is that a lawyer comes to Jesus. Good Master, what must I do to inherit eternal life? Give me a formula. Tell me exactly what I need to do so I can tick all the boxes. But Jesus puts the question back on him. What do you see in the scriptures? And the lawyer said to him, you must love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your strength, and with all your mind, and your neighbour as yourself. And Jesus says, you're right, do this and life is yours. But then came the second question. And who is my neighbour? Who do you think the neighbour of Jesus is? You see, I think Jesus is neighbour to us all. He's very close to us all. But so easily we put barriers between people, don't we? And so Jesus unfolds the parable of the Good Samaritan, the man who was walking between Jerusalem and Jericho when he fell into the hands of bandits, how he was beaten up, and a priest walked by and then a Levite, two people who should have known better, and just left the beaten man lying there. But then came by a Samaritan, and he was moved with pity, and he took care of the beaten man. Again, a question to ask. Why a Samaritan? You know, the Samaritans for the Jews were like close cousins. They'd all been part of the one nation of Israel until the northern kingdom was attacked by the Syrians some 700 years before Christ. And the Samaritans intermarried with the local people, and so they weren't as focused or pure in the Jewish mind as the Jewish people. So cousins, but we don't really like them. So often we do that. You know, when I was a child, there was the last vestiges of bigotry in my small town between Catholics and those who were from other churches. We had great relationships with our neighbours who weren't of the Catholic faith, and yet often when we'd be going to school, we would throw torments of those going to the state school. Catholic, Catholic, ring the bell, state, state, go to hell. And they'd taunt back, Catholic dogs stink like hogs in their mother's bathing togs. And it's just awful, isn't it? We were neighbours. You know, we grew up together in the same small town. And yet there was this wall of division between us. Some years ago, I wrote a book along with three other ministers of religion from my hometown. And one of them wrote about growing up in Hokitika, our hometown. He was a Presbyterian, and he had cousins living in the town who were Catholics, and they never talked to each other. So often today, our language is of division, of pointing the finger at others. We talk of woke sort of ideology, where we make divisions between people. But the compassion of Christ and the story of the Samaritan is a call for us to break down those walls. The parable should make us feel uncomfortable and really look at what's in our heart. Who is my neighbour? And who is the neighbour of Christ? Are we living in the same neighbourhood? The call of the Good Samaritan is a call to open our hearts and compassion. Have a great Sunday. God bless you all.